राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तनम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नश्य प्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। होमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तो कॉर्ड मिला क्या? ओके, कॉर्ड ले आइए, तब तक हम पढ़ लेते हैं। हरे कृष्णा। हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में? हाँ? ठीक है, इंग्लिश। हरे कृष्णा। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 17, Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu. Text number 28. This is a very, very famous verse, repeatedly quoted by Srila Prabhupada in his different purports. Narayana para sarve na kutaschana bhibyati swargapavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. Narayana para sarve न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्गापवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थदर्शिना। नारायण परा सर्वे न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्गापवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थदर्शिना। Vaishnavis. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Narayana Para, pure devotees who are interested only in the service of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarve, all. Na, not. Kutaschana, anywhere. Bibhyati, are afraid. Swarga, in the higher planetary systems. Apavarga, in liberation. narkeshu, and in hell. Api, even. Tulya, equal. Artha, value. Darshinaha, who see. Translation. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan never fear any condition of life. For them the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. Purport. Parvati might naturally have inquired how devotees become so exalted. In the previous verse, Lord Shiva has glorified that he is so great. You may be very beautiful, but his beauty of devotional service surpasses. So here the further discussion is, Parvati might naturally have inquired how devotees become so exalted. Therefore, this verse explains that they are Narayana Para, simply dependent on Narayan. They do not mind reverses in life because in the service of Narayan, they have learned to tolerate whatever hardships there may be. They do not care whether they are in heaven or in hell. They simply engage in the service of the Lord. This is their excellence. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. They are liberally engaged in the service of the Lord, and therefore they are excellent. By using the word Bhritya Bhrityanam, this word is used in the previous verse by Lord Shiva. By using the word Bhritya Bhrityanam, Lord Shiva pointed out that although Chitraketu provided one example of tolerance and excellence, all the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord as eternal servants are glorious. They have no eagerness to be happy by being placed in the heavenly planets, becoming liberated, or becoming one with Brahman, the supreme effulgence. These benefits do not appeal to their minds. They are simply interested in giving direct service to the Lord. So this is a very exalted discussion being done among the Paramahansas. Lord Shiva is glorifying Lord Shiva is glorifying King Chitraketu's exhibition of tolerance. In the previous verse, one word which was used was Adbhut Karmana. So it is the amazing feat of the Lord. So the Adbhut Karmana is that the Lord actually enabled Mother Parvati to become angry and curse Chitraketu, and and through that he was glorifying Chitraketu Maharaj's glorious qualities he was bringing out. So these qualities which are being discussed here are very exalted, and I am a very small fallen servant. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas to speak something on this exalted verse and glorify the great souls who personify these wonderful qualities in order to purify my heart, give you all some joy, and to the lordships also. So this verse has three words used: Swarga, Apavarga, Narkeshu. So all three are insignificant, or it does not matter where one is. So one who is Narayana Para, Na Kotaschana Vibhyati. So we'll see a little bit from how this builds up. So in the characteristics of pure devotion service, there are 6 characteristics. So usually people in this world are caught up in trying to enjoy this world only. A little better people who are somewhat looking for higher pleasures in this world, they go for Swarga. So the people who look for Swarga, they have to also do some type of tapasya, yajna, dhan, tapa. They follow the karmakandi principles. They also try to live by dharma. They also have to apply sense control. They also have to see how they can rise above the lower modes so as to become more exalted in their qualities to come to Swarga. So that also requires some tapasya. However, for why they are doing it is only for like temporary inconvenience, for long-term convenience. They are also looking for selfish enjoyment only, and that karmakanda leads to Swarga kind of enjoyment, which is so intoxicating, and for a long time, whatever the modern world is trying to sinfully try to do is fully available in the heavenly planets without sin coming over them. Like people want to elongate their life by artificial means. People want to enjoy sex pleasure without progeny. People want to have, fragrant bodies, so they put deodorants. So all types of pleasures that are being tried by people here, they are automatically available in the Swarga planet. But that is actually completely insignificant for a devotee. So in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad analyzes the three types of happiness. Material happiness in ways of enjoying the material pleasures of this world. Second level is the Brahmananda, or the enjoyment of moksha, and the bhakti enjoyment. So he shares very nicely, actually 6 characteristics of pure devotion service. There is Shubhada in the Vaidhi Bhakti stage also. And Shubhada has 4 characteristics, out of which one is Sukhada. So Sukhada means it is a superior happiness. So the analysis is that, first of all, the other pleasures are temporary, both moksha and material pleasures of this world, of heavenly planets also, both are temporary. Secondly, they are also not as good as what bhakti gives as a pleasure. So there is a superior sense of happiness. Bhakti pleasure is eternal. So that comes even at the stage of Vaidhi Bhakti. So a person can say, I don't want this Swarga also. But at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, one comes to Moksha Laguta Krit, where moksha itself becomes insignificant. So the gradation is, first it is superior, then there is insignificance. So Moksha Laguta Krit, the pleasure of moksha also becomes insignificant. And the last stage at Prema Bhakti, Sandrandana Visheshatma, one cannot even perceive. One feels, I'll just read a little. It says, very beautifully it says. Yeah. So Rupa Goswami Pad, he has quoted that verse, Brahmanando bhavet esha chet parardha gunit krita naiti bhakti sukham bodhe parmanu tulamapi. So what does it mean? He says that, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if Brahmananda, the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme, is multiplied by 1 trillion fold, it still cannot compare to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service. This is the ecstasy of the acharyas, how they, actually this is true. For them, kaivalyam narkayate. One here is saying that apavarga narkeshu, going to narka and all, which is also okay. But kaivalyam is like narak, because I cannot get to serve the Lord. So the pleasure of Brahmananda is 1 trillion, even if multiplied 1 trillion fold, is not comparable to atomic fraction of the happiness in the ocean of devotional service. And he also, in this book by Dhanudhar Maharaj, he shares, Shubhada is the happiness found in sadhana bhakti. It is superior to sense gratification and liberation. Moksha Laguta Krit is the happiness found in bhava bhakti. It is superior. It is so superior that it makes sense gratification and liberation insignificant. And Sandrandana Visheshatma is the happiness found in prema bhakti. It is so incalculably superior that one cannot even perceive the existence of sense gratification and liberation. So that is the intoxicated level of Shuddha Bhakti, Prema. Of course, all three are in Shuddha Bhakti only. Vaidhi Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, when performs properly, it is actually pure devotion service. But the stages release more and more intoxicated levels of divine pleasure. So, in the Sandarbhas, Srila Jiva Goswami gives a very important definition of Shuddha Bhakti. He gives it, not a definition I would say, but this Prabhupada is quoting something which helps us to know one of the very foundational characteristics how Shuddha Bhakti person behaves. Bhajaniya Parama Purusha Sukha Matra Swasukhutvam. That means a devotee thinks Bhajaniya Parama Purusha. This means one should feel happy only by experiencing the happiness of the Supreme Lord. If Bhagwan khush hai, to main khush hu. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, actually people who are in the Karmkandi mode, for them heavenly planet itself is a very high goal to achieve, and they work very hard. Sometimes they are caught up in many rituals so as to somehow accomplish that goal of going to the heavenly planets. And those who are Jnanakandi Brahmanas, like one who met Haridas Thakur, and he heard that mukti is like a byproduct of Namavas. He said, what are you saying? He was not able to believe, because mukti is not a cheap thing. Actually, sometimes if we get a clearing and we get clearing properly, we feel like mukti ho gaya, no? Actually, to get mukti, what is mukti? We can't even imagine. Mukti is a very, very high stage from most of the transcendentalists. They are doing so much of like tapasya in the Himalayas, and many austerities they perform, which are unimaginable for us, and we don't have to do also. Don't worry, But they are doing so much. Why? Because they somehow want to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So mukti is a very, very high thing, and he said, Naam Avas se ho jata hai. What is this? How can Naam Avas lead to this? If you say, if this is not true, your nose will fall off. So his nose fell off. So moksha is a very high thing, but so apavarga. But for a devotee, here Rupa Goswami already, I quoted this verse. Rupa Goswami says that it is even trillion-fold Brahmananda is not comparable to atomic fraction of Bhakti Ananda. So what must be Bhakti Ananda? And when so someone is able to give up material world's pleasures in trying to, this earthly planet pleasures for Swarga, someone is able to give up Swarga for Brahman, but the devotee says, no, not Brahman, that is nonsense. I want to serve the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. But in that the superlative is coming in Narkeshu, where the devotee of the Lord does not even care to attain Vaikuntha. So this discussion see, this is discussion between Lord Chaitanya and the Tattvavadi Acharya who he had met. And there he discusses this very beautifully. He shares even this verse which we are discussing today. So after Tattvavadi Acharya had spoken, Lord Chaitanya told his understanding of the conclusions. See, first actually he says, Sadhya sadhana ami na jani bala mate. Sadhya sadhana shrestha jana amate. So you teach me what is actually the sadhana and the sadhya. And then he tells Varnashram dharma is the sadhana. And he tells about going back to Vaikuntha is the goal actually. Liberation to Vaikuntha, Panchavida mukti paya Vaikuntha gamana sadhya shrestha haya ei shastra nirupan. So he told Varnashram is the way and Vaikuntha is the goal. And Lord Chaitanya said, sorry, these are not the two. Prabhu kahe, Shastra kahe, Shravana Kirtan. Okay. Krishna prema seva phale paramasadhan. So Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya told what? Shravan Kirtan is the way, not Varnashram. And what is the goal? Krishna prema, Preeti. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he brings out the Dashamula Tattva, there he says, Preeti is the goal. So goal is love of Godhead. And in love, the devotee does not even care to go back to Vaikuntha. He says, if your service requires me to be here, I will be here. If it requires me to go to Narka also, I will go there. So here he quotes further. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam he quotes to tell about the first one. And then in the he says that the 5 types of muktis, that verse, Salokya Sari, he will quote that. Salokya Sarishi Samipya Sarupya Ekatvam Papyuta Diyamanam Na Grinanti Vina Mat Sevanam Jana. So he does not take that. And then he quotes this same verse. Narayana Para Sarve Na Kutaschana Bibhyati Swarkapavarga Narkeshu Api Tulyartha Darshina. So a devotee's program is not of going back to Vaikuntha. His desire to only please the Lord. Tat Sukhitva Sukhitvam. Parama Purusha Sukhat. That what I was quoting here, no? Bhajaniya Parama Purusha Sukha Matra Sa Sukhutvam. If he is happy, Lord is happy, wherever he wants me to be, I will be there. So, we'll try to discuss more examples of such type. Next time more. So, bhakti is not having any tinge of selfishness, not even the selfish desire to enjoy Vaikuntha, not even the enjoyment of servitude. The desire is only to serve the Lord, and byproduct is we get so much pleasure that it is so intoxicating that it moksha lagutakrit, Sandrandana Visheshatma, sorry. Actually, moksha lagutakrit is still insignificant, but at that Sandrandana Visheshatma, a thought for sense gratification cannot cross the mind also, and one cannot even perceive sense gratification in moksha. So, like that. So, Lord has glorified this kind of pure devotional service time and again through the Bhagavatam, and the great souls have exhibited such exalted devotional service. So we will try to see how devotees not even care to go to hell. Well, they can go to hell even if that is what is required to serve the Lord. We know that when Ramanacharya was given the mantra by Goshtipurna, Om Namo Narayanaya. So he saw that this is something that can actually elevate one to Vaikuntha and be with the Lord. So when he saw all the conditioned souls suffering in this world, he declared it publicly, while it was a very private mantra, which was given after a very long, dialogue and pain. Like he was requesting, and after Lord personally came coming and telling Goshtipurna, you should give the mantra. Then Goshtipurna gave the mantra. And he went on to declare it publicly to the whole world. And he was convinced that I may have to go to hell for this. But he was considering that if the Lord will get millions of devotees to serve him, and one soul goes to Narka, so what is more pleasure giving to the Lord? So his desire is to see how Lord can get more servants. Not that I should go back to God. And we also see Vasudev Dutt. When Vasudev Dutt was seeing the conditioned souls, he was praying to the Lord, Oh Lord, I have one pain in my heart. My heart breaks to see how the living entity is suffering in this world. Please fulfill this one desire of mine. If it allows you, you can do anything. Please give me this one benediction. Let all these living entities of this entire universe be delivered. And if it is required, all their sinful reactions, I will be bearing in the hell for eternal time. Lord Chaitanya was he became stunned in ecstasy, crying tears of love. And he said, oh, why will the Lord have to send you to hell for this? Simply your desire will deliver all these living entities. You are such a great Vaishnava. Who can actually have such compassion? You are actually Prahlad. And Lord Chaitanya was saying, in Chaitanya Bhagavad it comes that Lord Chaitanya says, Vasudev Dutt, you are actually, I am Vasudev Dutta's man. I am purchased by Vasudev Dutt. He can sell me wherever he wants to sell me. So, it is very inconceivable level of intoxicated love to say that I can go to hell also for all the living entities. All the living entities. Prabhupada gives a very beautiful purport in this discussion in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If someone wants to read the full glorification of Vasudev Dutt by Srila Prabhupada, he says, one devotee like this is not just a glory for the world, but for the entire universe. Simply by his presence in this world, the whole world becomes glorified. All the conditioned souls of that world become glorified. And like that, he is sharing with so much heart that such compassion is unequaled in the entire creation. And he gives a comparison about Jesus Christ's prayer and Vasudev Dutt's prayer. Very beautiful discussion. But suffice to share here that what is the exalted nature of this prayer. So his case, Damodar Prabhu was once sharing a comparison very beautifully. He was saying, imagine you are going in a train and someone is standing in the train and you see that he is standing, you have the ticket. So you may say, आप साथ में बैठ जाइए, But will you say that I will get up and you sit? Very difficult. To trade off that person's little pain which he is getting from his past karma for your piety which is giving you the seat, it is so difficult. What to talk of all the fellows who are standing in the train? That is a very small amount of pain with those small number of living entities are getting. What to talk of all the pains that, imagine in one hospital in Pune only, how many patients are admitted and how much pain they are going through, life and death and so many pains. Cancer is so painful for one living entity. So all that pain is also because of past karma only. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Shri Shri Gauri Nitai Ki Jai. So all that one hospital, what to talk of all the hospitals, what to talk of all the hospitals of the world, not only Pune, what to talk of all the living entities suffering in the Naraka planet also, what to talk of all the living entities suffering in all the planets of all the living, all the universe. He is saying all of that can come to me, and he knows this is, the Naraka exists. He is not like he is not sending a hyperbole statement, and Lord Chaitanya knows that he means it. So what would it mean to say, if we can't trade off a train seat for the other person's benefit, what it would mean to actually take all the pains of all other living entities and suffer for them and then let them enjoy with the Lord. That means there is so much enjoyment in this spiritual love. There is so much higher pleasure. He is tasting something very deep. That is why he is able to say that and what is that taste? That is the Sandrandana Visheshatma. A devotee becomes so intoxicated in pure love, he cannot think of his pleasure also. And so, Vasudeva Dutt is one example. Like that we hear about the gopis also. Gopis are like the epitome of pure devotional service. Among the pure devotees also, they are like the culmination, and even the Lord says, Na parayam, I cannot repay you back for what you have done for me. So, the gopis example, Lord himself wanted to show that what is their exalted devotional service. So he had a drama of having headache. And when he had a headache that time, Narada was given the role of getting the medicine. And what is the medicine? The dust of the lotus feet of some devotees. So he went to all the sages, saints, everyone, and they were saying, what are you saying? If we actually give dust on the head of our Supreme Lord, he'll go to hell. How can we give? And when he went to gopis at Vrindavan, they were very excited to see Narad Muni because he is always meeting the Lord. And then he told that I come from Dwarka, Lord is having headache. What? Is there any way he can be relieved? He says, the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Oh, then collect now. There are so many Vaishnavas. You should give everything. But then he says, no one is ready to give. He says, what are you saying? Take. They started digging bucket full of dust. Take. He said, do you know what will happen because of this? He is the Supreme Lord. For this you will go to hell. And they said, if a fraction of second, if the Lord's headache can be removed by our going eternally to hell, then we are ready for that. It is very inconceivable statements. Actually, we may just, again, from my fallen level of practice, to even conceive these things is so tough actually. So, the gopis of Vrindavan, they are ready to go to hell. So, the devotees of the Lord who are tasting Shuddha Bhakti or who are living for pure devotional service, they do not consider anything valuable in life except giving pleasure to the Lord, giving relief to the Lord by taking His pains. So in Mahaprakash Leela also we see this by all the great souls were asked by Lord Chaitanya, please ask something, and every one of them asked, they were given all the things, Ashtasiddhi, they were proposed, Ashtasiddhi, heavenly planets, Vaikuntha planet, whatever you want, you can have. But all of them were simply asking for different aspects of Shuddha Bhakti, primarily becoming a servant of the servant, Bhrityanama as is mentioned here. So the great souls, they have deep sense of satisfaction in simply being a loving servant of the Lord. And not only that, they have satisfaction, but they actively pursue the effort to please the Lord, taking his anxiety. So, coming to Srila Prabhupada, you see Srila Prabhupada also went to, left Seva Kunj, left the beautiful abode of Radha Damodarji in Vrindavan at the age of 70, and he was going to the place which is not by the Vedic standard. According to the Smarta Brahmanas, don't cross over the 7 oceans because they are all sinful people living. But Srila Prabhupada took all that pain because he was wanting to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. He had compassion for the conditioned souls. So he left Vrindavan, and when people come to Vrindavan at the age of 72, leave their body, because they are interested in salvation, or they want to go to Goloka or whatever, Vaikuntha, but their idea is to get free from cycle of birth and death. But Srila Prabhupada, the most exalted Acharya, is leaving Vrindavan to carry Vrindavan to the whole world and bringing everyone in their hearts to Vrindavan. And he went to London, he went to Bauri, which is actually a very sinful place full of all types of illicit activities going on. When he went to London, he said London is hell. So Prabhupada was not giving some kind of like name calling kind of thing. He said there no sun is rising because in Narka there is no sun. So that is why it is hell. And because of so much sinful activities going on across the world, a person of pure a person who is living in pure devotion, such a pure personality, staying with people who are drinking, smoking, having illicit sex, eating meat, Prabhupada was tolerating so much because Prabhupada had fixed his heart in the loving service of his spiritual master. So, in the Lilamrit, so Prabhupada lived on the Bauri, sitting under a small light, while hundreds of derelicts also sat under hundreds of naked lights on the same city block. He had no more fixed income than the derelicts, nor any greater security of a fixed residence. Yet his consciousness was different. He was translating Srimad Bhagavatam into English, speaking to the world through his Bhaktivedanta purports. His duty, whether on the 14th floor of a riverside drive apartment building or in a corner of a Bauri loft, was to establish Krishna consciousness as the prime necessity for all humanity. He went on with his translation and with his constant vision of a Krishna temple in New York City. Because his consciousness was absorbed in Krishna's universal mission, he did not depend on his surroundings for shelter. Home for him was not a matter of bricks and wood, but of taking shelter of Krishna in every circumstance. As Prabhupada had said to his friend uptown, everywhere is my home, whereas without Krishna's shelter the whole world would be a desolate place. Often he would refer to a scriptural statement that people live in 3 different modes. And in the last he says, but to live in a temple of Lord Vishnu, that is Vaikuntha. And this Bauri loft, where Prabhupada was holding his meetings and performing kirtan, was also transcendental. When he was behind the partition, working in his corner before the open pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, that room was as good as his room back at Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. This is Prabhupada's consciousness, because Prabhupada is fixed in the mission of the Lord. There is no duality for him. All the world is Swarga Pavarga Narkeshu Api Tulyartha Darshina. And he can establish Vrindavan wherever he is, because he is doing mission of the Lord. Another place it says, seeing him from a distance, a tiny figure walking Manhattan streets and avenues among many other tiny figures, a foreigner whose visa had almost run out, we come upon only the external appearance of Srila Prabhupada. These days of struggle were real enough and very difficult, but his transcendental consciousness was always predominant. He was not living in Manhattan consciousness, but was absorbed in dependence upon Krishna. Just as when on Jalduta he had suffered his heart attacks, his reading Chaitanya Charitamrita had supplied him the nectarian of life. He had already succeeded. Certainly he wanted to provide Radha and Krishna temple in New York, but its success was that he was remembering Krishna even in New York City in the winter of 1965-66, whether the world recognized him or not. Not a day went by when he did not work on Krishna's book, Srimad Bhagavatam, and not a day went by when he did not offer food to Krishna and speak on Krishna's philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, "For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost to him and he is never lost to me." And Krishna assures his pure devotee that my devotee will never be vanquished. There was never any doubt about this for Prabhupada. The only question was whether Americans would take notice of a pure devotee in their midst. At this point it seemed that no one was going to take him seriously. So this way, Srila Prabhupada's consciousness was always transcendental. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada brings another aspect to this. Prabhupada says, just like at Vrindavan, that is practical. Now here I am sitting in New York, a very great, the world's greatest city, so magnificent city. But my heart is always hankering after that Vrindavan. Yes, Prabhupada said, yes, I am not happy here, woman. Yes, I know. Prabhupada, I shall be very happy to return to my Vrindavan, that sacred place. But then why are you here? Prabhupada himself is putting the question. Now, because it is my duty. I have brought some message for you people, because I am ordered by Superior, my spiritual master, that whatever you have learned, you should go to the Western country and you must distribute this knowledge. So in spite of all my difficulties, all my inconveniences, I am here because I am in duty. That is my personal convenience. If I go and sit down at Vrindavan, I shall be very comfortable there. And I will have no anxiety, nothing of the sort. You see? But I have taken all the risk in the old age because I am in duty bound. So I have to execute my duty in spite of all inconveniences, in spite of all my inconveniences. That is the idea. So Srila Prabhupada is setting a great example that even at the advanced age, one does not consider that now I should try to work only on self-liberation, but actually always be fixed on what is the pleasure, what will please the Lord in this moment. If it is, I should chant my round, I should chant. If it is to do something, to do the mission of the Lord, I should do that. He was fixed in Krishna. So, so it is not only Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's disciples also shown that. Okay, coming to disciples just a little late. You see, also Quresh had prayed to go back to Vaikuntha, to Sri Ranganath Swami. But why he wanted to go? Because Ramacharya, when he was leaving, Ramacharya was there by his side. And he said, I want to go back because I heard that when we go, then all the parampara is coming to receive. How can I be received by you? I want to serve you eternally. Janme Janme Prabhu say, I am eternal servant of yours. So I want to go and create a grand reception for you, my master. When you come, I will do that service. So a devotee is fixed on trying to be an eternal servant of the servant of the servant. So we see also the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like Mother Haladini Devi Mataji. She was preaching in one of the most difficult areas in Africa. And she had no fear. One time they were doing Harinam Sankirtan, and then police caught them and they were put in behind bars, and the court called them that why are you doing all this? You're making too much noise. So she said, you cannot put us behind bars. And if you have to put us, you have to put these people also in behind the bars. These people means what? She's pointing out to Shishi Gaurnita is deities. So the judge asked, what are you saying? Who we should put? Who are you pointing to? They are ordering us. Because of their order we are going. They have told that you should go street to street and chant the holy names. Because of their order, they are our masters. What can we do? We have to do it. So if you have to put us behind bars, you have to put them also behind the bars. He was a Western fellow, he did not have any clue of what she's talking about. Dolls, are you talking that we should put the dolls behind bars? They are not dolls. They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are ordering us to, preach to everyone. So you have to put behind the bars. And there was one sannyasi who was trying to, pacify the judge because Mataji is in ecstasy. So he said, no, we will not do. It is we'll try to do it, soberly. No, we will do because Lord Chaitanya has ordered us. Ladini Mataji was again bouncing back. So seeing her sincere heart of trying to please the Lord actually invoked in the heart of the judge faith that what she is saying is actually genuine, and he released all of them actually. And of course, God Nitai were never imprisoned, and she was having no fear about it. But she had one fear. In the last letter which she wrote to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, she said, I have only one fear in my life, that I should never commit Vaishnava Aparadh. So when she was in Africa preaching, there were gangsters who were trying to trouble devotees also, and they were shooting down devotees. And actually they came to the temple where Mother Ladini Mataji was doing service, and they were shooting down all the men. Children and women can be kept aside. She said that to see a devotee being killed in front of me is a very big Vaishnava Aparadh. So she stood before all the men and she said, you have to shoot me down before you shoot any men, because I cannot see a devotee be killed. So they said, what are you saying, woman, get lost, get out, you have to kill them, I will shoot you down. Yes, you shoot me down, but I cannot see a devotee get killed. And she was shot down actually. So Srila Radhanath Maharaj shares how actually this is the most exalted level of consciousness, where a person, actually apparently it looks like a very inauspicious death for a modern idea of superficial ideas people may have. Arey, devotee ka bhi shot down ho gaya, what is this? Why didn't Lord protect? But actually the Lord does not see these externals. The devotee of the Lord is eternally in the heart of the Lord. Such a devotee who is fully desiring to please the Lord, having full faith in the Lord, not even ready to even lay down her life if it takes to not witness ever some devotee's death. What type of exalted consciousness this Mataji was in. So the devotees of the Lord do not fear. Recently His Holiness Indudumna Maharaj had come to Pune. So he was giving an arrival address. I was not there. Revati was later paraphrasing for me. So he was telling that Prabhupada told that for preaching I need to even go to hell because there are so many people to be delivered. So he said, if Prabhupada is going to hell, how can we desire to go to Nikunja, because we are Dasanudas, we are his servants. So we have to follow his footsteps. If our Master's mission is not over in this world, wherever he is, we have to go there to assist him. This is the ecstasy of pure devotional service. A devotee is always thinking, if the Master is trying to serve here, it is not, I want to now be in Vrindavan Dham trying to take a rest with the Radha Krishna Leela, enjoying Radha Krishna Leela. Actually, Radha Krishna Leela is expanded by Lord Chaitanya as Audarya Leela. Madhurya and Audarya, they are both very interconnected. And when a devotee can digest this, then he does not live separate from Vrindavan. When he goes out in compassion to serve the world, going to Naraka also, because he is always so deeply connected to the Lord, just like Vasudev Dutt, just like Srila Prabhupada, just like Ladini Mataji, just like Param Pujya Indranand Maharaj is saying. So this is actually the most exalted of all consciousness. Swarga Pavarga Narkeshu. Actually Narka also is not, I don't deny Narka also. So someone may want Vaikunta, but even greater a devotee is one who says, if it takes Naraka, Vaikunta is easy, but if it takes Vaikunta, or it takes Naraka, I will go there. But when we say Vaikunta is easy, it is not so easy. Even to think of the austerities which takes to go to Brahman itself is so difficult. One has to rise above all the dualities, gross sensual pleasures, subtle sukha dukkha, and man apman, all that. Then what to talk of what is Vaikunta, to live for only the Lord, and what to talk of in such a way that I can take pains for the Lord and go to Naraka also. So these devotees of the Lord are showing very, very exalted principles of devotional service. So we may say that how we can work on this, because it's such an exalted platform. So he says here in the purport, Prabhupada is saying Narayana Para. So to the degree the devotee becomes Narayana Parayana, he will actually be able to live this consciousness easily. But in trying to work on this consciousness, taking some clues from different purports, different verses, songs, and the example of Chitraketu, rounding it up on the point of, so one Chitraketu Maharaj chanted the mantra given by Narad Muni. So he became exalted to see the Lord Shankarshan, and he fixed himself in this consciousness, and that is why he was able to live by that when Mother Parvati cursed him. So we should also chant the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should also chant this mantra given by our Acharya. It is said, what is that? Sampade vipade taha thakuka samabhave dine dine vriddhi hoka namera prabhave. As we chant these names, the divine names of the Lord, gradually our consciousness will become freed from seeing any of these dualities as important and fix ourselves in devotional service. The second thing which Chitraketu Maharaj was doing when he actually arrived at this spot was he was glorifying the Lord in the presence of all the Vidyadhara ladies. But he was not, in fact, they were also intoxicated in the glories of the Lord. Similarly, we should have Srimad Bhagavatam in our life, and that Srimad Bhagavatam is the antidote for all the misgivings of Kali Yuga. It is also going to fix ourselves in devotional service. First Siddhanta boliya chitte na kare alas, iya lage Krishna sudhira manas. So one will actually become fixed in Krishna, one will get intoxicated on Krishna, and then one will be aloof from the troubles of this world. So Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. And the third point is, as mentioned as here, Bhritya Bhrityanam, or also by seeing Srila Prabhupada's example and all the great souls following him. So Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi on the order of the spiritual master is very important to deliberate over. And when one does so, Prabhupada quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, says that one should take the instruction of the spiritual master as life and soul. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in that for a devotee who is Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi, he does not even care for his deliverance. He only wants to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. So we see these three principles, Srila Prabhupada took shelter actually as he went to the West. Holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the order of his spiritual master. And more we take shelter of these universal shelters which the great souls have given us, then we can also one day come to the consciousness by their mercy, where we will be able to say Swarga Pavarga Narkeshu Apitulyartha Darshana. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions? There are some 5 minutes left. Puji, you have any comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Antardvip, very grateful to you for making us go deeper in the hearts of Chitraketu and followers of Chitraketu. So many wonderful examples you told and beautifully explained what they think, what they experience, what they value in their lives, and they do it. They just don't say it. So I deeply felt that you are also experiencing some of that and you are sharing with all of us. So thank you for sharing that. My question is, when it comes to practicing these things, their values, their experiences, we don't have them, at least I am talking about myself. So we have to practice something which we don't value, like Vaishnava Aparadha. We have to practice or experience something which we have not experienced, right? What is being said. So when it comes to here very high, Swarga Apavarga Narakeshu. So my question is, when we are asked to do some service with some devotee, so sometimes we feel that Prabhu, some service, some temple, some service, or in room also, whatever. So there is some level of inconvenience, then we try to express it that Prabhu, can I go to, can I render service? I can't render service with the devotee. So what should be the spirit, having heard this, when we have some inconveniences with some personalities which are around us? So what should be the response individually and collectively while knowing the principle of this verse?
I can try to answer. I'm not there. So, at least when an instruction comes, it may be this kind of inconvenience or any other inconvenience. But if the instruction is coming from a superior, it is worthy to at least say yes for trying. And as we try, Krishna can empower us to rise above our modes, rise above our dualities, rise above our perceptions about others. And when we stick to the higher principle for the pleasure of the Guru, then we can fight that war. But sometimes it becomes very difficult because time and again our lower modes also may come in between when we are trying to deal with that devotee. So once we try and we are trying and we can we can regularly report about our struggles. And if the devotee sees that through the struggle we are getting purified, then he may say continue. Like once I was asking His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj that if two preachers are there and they keep fighting with each other because they are in the same project, they are fighting and they are saying better we be in two projects. So what would you like, Maharaj? What is better? They should develop Trinadapi Sunichena by being together, or they should go out. So Maharaj was saying that it will be good if they can stay together and work on Trinadapi Sunichena. That is more important. So, of course, it is not an absolute thing that this only should be done. There may be a situation where that may lead to more offenses. So in that case, a devotee may be separated, but at least one should know in the core of his heart that it is my shortcoming that I am not able to deal with another devotee. If that basic repentance is there, then one will know that I am going away from this devotee, not to say that this devotee is bad. His qualities may be bad or different from me. I don't know what is right and wrong. I don't know how to deal with him. My bhakti needs a safer paradigm where I can grow to eventually be happily deal with this devotee. So I only want to improve my devotion service in order to again properly reciprocate with this devotee. Because great souls can deal with all varieties of devotees. So it is my own shortcoming of devotion service that I am not able to handle my dealings properly. So if we have that humble note, even if we change the service, at least we'll have that desire that through this services I should get purified to one day positively deal with that devotee. So, does that answer? Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. We'll Nava Gauravaram. We'll chant the glories of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.